I'll admit that I'm not that big into racing games unless the racing game in general has some kind of unconventional means of trying to win races, like say kart racing from a certain plumber or a certain marsupial. Then I'm definitely down for those. And in today's episode of The Chronicles, we're going to be looking at two Sonic racing games for the Game Gear. One of which is Japan exclusive for some strange reason, while the other actually made it stateside. But are these really good racing games at all? Will they actually be as good as either the plumber or the marsupial in question? Well, we'll find out in today's episode. Because right now, here's my review of Sonic Drift 1 and 2.
Honestly, I really don't have high opinions of these games. I know it's harsh for me to say that early on in the review, especially for a Sonic fan, but really, there's not much content in these games that make me want to go back and replay them. Long before the 2000s, there were only 3 racing games that feature Sonic and company: Sonic Drift 1 and 2, and Sonic R, the latter of which I'll talk about in the future. I've heard of these two kart racers in the past, and I've seen them in action by watching the Great Clement's playthrough of each of them. I made it in the intro screen when I mentioned that both of these games are developed by Arc System Works. Yes, the same guys that brought us Guilty Gear, BlazBlue, and developed the fantastic Dragon Ball FighterZ, which I had done a review of in 2018. Man, that company sure came a long way. However, of the two racers, the first game was Japan exclusive until Sonic Mega Collection Plus came along, while the second game was localized. I've only tried each of these games about 2 times. First when I was trying them, out of curiosity of course, and second for this review. And while these games do have some fans, the replay value was kinda low for me, as I'll begin explaining Sonic Drift 1. The roster consists of Sonic, Tails, Amy, and Dr. Eggman. Like many kart racers, each would have specific attributes, such as Sonic's vehicle having great acceleration while handling is very loose, or Dr. Eggman's ride having attributes opposite of Sonic's. The Chaos GP is your single-player campaign, and each course is based off of the stages of the 16-bit version of Sonic 1. Each circuit has you going through all 6 tracks, and the layout of each stage differs in each circuit. You'll be racing a number of laps in each course, and whenever you complete a race, you'll earn points based on what position you finished at, and your overall score will be rated after the final stage to see your rankings at the end of the circuit. But should 2 racers are tied in a total number of points, the one who has scored the most first-place finishes will be named the winner. As with any kart racer, there will be items scattered on the track. You can collect rings in the field, and with every 2 rings used, you can perform your character's unique ability, and if connected, your opponents will lose rings. There are also the usual yellow springs, which allow you to jump high in mid-air, red monitors to temporarily increase the speed of your vehicle, and blue monitors that grant you invincibility. While the graphics and sprite designs are very colorful, upon replaying the game for the review, everything else just falls flat. I'll give props to the dev team for trying, but the game itself doesn't feel too challenging. Regardless of each character's attributes, as long as you stay in first place, you're guaranteed an easy win. The soundtrack is not memorable, and you don't hear it that much because more often, you'll find yourself getting the blue monitors and constantly hearing the very fast version of Green Hill Zone from Sonic 2 8-bit. In addition, rubber band programming doesn't exist in this game, so the chances of the other racers catching up to you is pathetically low, and as long as you remain in first place, you'll be overlapping everybody else. It's a joke. Very bare bones this game, it's no wonder why it stayed in Japan. But does the second game improve better than the first? Well, to some extent it does, but even then, the overall fun factor is not as high as any other game in the genre. Joining the returning cast are Knuckles, Fang, and Metal Sonic, and like the first game, each character would have their set of attributes as well as special attacks whenever you expend 2 rings, though in Metal Sonic's case, it's 3 rings. The Chaos GP in the game now has new tracks. Some are based off of Sonic 2 16-bit, Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and few being originals for this game. But because how bland the first game was, the AI for the game has been increased significantly as the other racers can actually attack you this time and can really catch up to you now with the addition of rubber band programming. The courses in the game play on different rules, as some tracks play on rules of the first game, while others have you racing from point A to B. Even more challenging is that some tracks will actually have some obstacles that you either need to avoid so that you don't lose your position, or actually take them, as there are some tracks with pitfalls and no side rails, making it possible for you to fall off the sides of the courses. The power-ups from the first game return, with some new ones for this game that can be used to stop the other racers, but they don't automatically activate upon contact this time, so you can use them manually at any time when needed. I'll admit that it's great to see some improvements from the first. However, the dev team went too far in the difficulty level. The AI was very relentless on attacking, and I have so many close calls on each track, even on the easier courses. Even if there's a way to tone down the difficulty, the game is still not very engaging as any other kart racer. In fact, the kart racing genre wouldn't be mainstream until the PS1 and N64 hit the scene. And even if this game were to be on consoles, it wouldn't make that much difference, and it doesn't bring that much excitement as one other kart racer on the SNES, and other kart racers years later that can get it right. So to that end, Sonic Drift 1 will receive a 3, while Sonic Drift 2 gets a 5. They may have good graphics, but when it comes to everything else, these racers are not really for me. But more power to you though if you find them enjoyable.
The way I see it, Sonic Drift 1 and 2 are not exactly very engaging kart racers. Not because of the fact that it's on the Game Gear, but rather the overall fundamentals of the game and the atmosphere doesn't really click with me that much like any other kart racing games out there. In fact, racing games that involve Sonic, they really don't get better until, like, say, maybe around the mid-2000s all the way to the early 2010s in my opinion. But that's a discussion for the future. Anyway, I hope you find this video interesting. Maybe. And if you find this video interesting, as well as other content in my channel, feel free to subscribe to my channel at any time, as well as follow me on social media. It'll help my channel a lot, and I greatly appreciate the support. So up next in the marathon, we're gonna go back to more Sonic Adventures, and not the 3D kind, at least not yet. And unfortunately for these next 2 games, after watching playthroughs of Clement J642, I can see why these games are not exactly good. So up next in the marathon, we're going to be looking at Sonic Labyrinth as well as Sonic Blast. Oh, those will be interesting. Maybe. Until then, this has been Musashi X, and I bid you all farewell. Take care, and stay tuned, everybody.